Through Death North American Farewell Tour. Cavalera doing it one last time with Sepultura. They're bringing Obituary with them, Agnostic Front, and a band called Claustrophobia. All four of them. Tuesday night, October 8th at the Agora. I'll see you there. AgoraCleveland.com for the details, by the way. You'll get my first pair of tickets this week. 2 for the Sepultura North American Farewell Tour here in Cleveland. One last time. Call 10-216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Are you trying to make us all uncomfortable?
Alan Cox.
It's gross, it's weird, it's not right, it's not cool.
And there's plenty more where that came from. Back to the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can keep your Drake and Kendrick.
Kendrick.
You can keep your Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. I think that's largely over now anyway, but I will see your Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef, and I will raise you Jerry and Elaine.
Yeah. I just saw this. I wanted to try and squeeze it in to the...
in Perez-Bilton.
Perez-Bilton, but...
No, they're not beefing in real life, but, I mean, the two different public statements. I mean, Jerry Seinfeld was taking some heat because he was complaining about, left-wing cancel culture and blah, blah, blah. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus was giving an interview, and she said, I think it's a red flag when comedians complain about political correctness. Because being aware of certain sensitivities is not a bad thing. She said, I don't know how else to say it. Julia Louis-Dreyfus has, of course, always been a very publicly progressive person. And she says, I just don't buy the idea that political correctness is a threat to comedy. But even Jerry has kind of alluded to that, too. Everybody laser focused on that comment, but his thing has always been, wherever you move the gates, we're going to get through the gates. So you have to be nimble enough that wherever culture's moving, you're going to find something that's funny and you're going to do it. But there's a lot of comics who are talking about like they won't do colleges anymore, things like that. And so obviously the two of these, the two of them are not arguing at each other, but publicly their differing statements contrast each other.
I think there's a middle ground. I mean, should you not care at all about offending people? No, I think you should, have a little sense of where you are and, things you should and shouldn't say. But then there are also, I'll tell you, when I came to Brooklyn, I was like, man, I might be Republican. This is crazy. This is insane.
But that's a very
it's a bubble. People,
yes.
Yeah.
But and those bubbles are typically the people keyboard warrioring to cancel people.
Right.
It's not your moderates that are out here like, what he said,
Well, to me, it always, I assume that by red flag, she means the limitations on an artist. And not every comedian is as funny as some other people, or not everybody can articulate those thoughts in a humorous way. And so there are some people who, and they've gotten themselves really big audiences by really leaning into, well, I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to say, which is fine. I mean, if that's the road you want to go down. But I think there's something to be said for being nimble enough and creative enough
to get around it.
That's
to
all
go wherever
Yeah.
things are going to go, I'll still get there.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of it. Because how long have people been complaining about political correctness?
As long as
Decades.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 80s, they were like, you'd hear comedians, I'm tired of this PC crap.
They want to use our water fountains.
Yeah.
They want to play baseball with us.
Maybe not that far back. It was called something other than political correctness.
Right,
but
but
I mean,
it's still like there's
always a version of it.
There's a version of it, yeah. And there's people like, I don't see why these things need to change with that stuff. Progress is good. I like progress. So when the goalposts get moved on things that we're not supposed to talk about, you gotta, you don't like to call it punching down, Alan, but
Well, yeah, I don't buy that one.
But I think of, like, are you trying to belittle people that are struggling, or are you trying to take shots at people in power? And I'm always going to want to take shots at people in power more than stomp on somebody that's having a hard time.
Right, but I mean, I don't even think that's the same thing that we're talking about, though.
But a lot of those conversations get lumped in with those because people are like, oh, I can't make jokes about trans people. It's like, well, you can make a joke about trans people, but when you are completely dismissing their existence, there's a difference between hate and comedy.
The people who end up getting in trouble are the people who aren't very creative anyway, who are like,
right.
Well, that's what I'm
trans
saying.
is weird.
Yeah, well,
right?
and again, it just comes down to
like
some lazy writing a lot of times.
Yeah, if you don't, that's what I'm saying. If you don't have the nimble mind and the agility of thought, I had a lot of driving this weekend, going back and forth to see my family, and I was listening to a lot of Anthony Jeselnik, who I think is a very, very funny and creative guy. I've never really done a deep dive into his stuff, but that's a guy who does very dark comedy.
And he sets a tone for it.
Sets a tone. People love it. Kind of like Tosh. Jeselnik's like Tosh, but Tosh has more of a smirk to him. Whereas Jeselnik...
And Tosh is a little more conversational.
Yeah.
Whereas Jeselnik is very, very direct, and it's not like he's not really telling stories.
It's a lot of two-liners, which I love.
No, they're great.
But that's a guy where nobody's like, oh, my God. They're laughing despite themselves.
Well, they go in expecting it in a way because
But I mean,
he sets that tone.
Even going back to like clubs, he didn't. They know that now, but everybody starts somewhere,
right?
And they don't always know that, and you got to figure out a way. These people don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to make them laugh, and
that's part of the fun and that's why a lot of comics don't want you filming their sets or anything because you can make those missteps on a way to a very funny joke. Because you're trying to figure out exactly how to dance between those raindrops.
And for people who think that, you said I like progress, and I do too, but there are people who don't see what's happening as progress. And that's another thing altogether. People who think that we are regressing to some degree or whatever. But my thought is always, you wouldn't find a single performer who was any good who would go back and watch themselves do, and I don't mean just comedians, but any performer, have them look at some of their stuff from 25, 30 years ago. They're all going to wince or they're going to cringe.
Well, yeah.
And
everything changes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that to me means that this isn't some special moment in time where everybody's overly sensitive. Stuff changes.
No, it's just the loudest time. That's all. It's just the people who are overly sensitive have more of an outlet for it. These people have always existed. The people who want to be offended have always existed. They just haven't always had 14 different forms of social media to tell you about it. And being connected to one another across the world.
And knowing how to weaponize that.
Right.
Jerry Seinfeld's also not a guy who is concerned about getting a new audience. He's not a guy who is like, well, let's see what I can do over here.
That Pop-Tart movie wasn't made for Gen Z?
Well, I mean,
I don't know who that movie was made for.
I haven't finished it, but it was, you didn't like it at all.
No, it's so bad.
I appreciated it for what it was supposed to be. And, but again, I haven't finished it. But, so anyway, but again, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, this woman could sit on a stool and read the encyclopedia, and I would pay to see it. She can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. But, they weren't talking to her about, Seinfeld's comments, but she's like, I have very different thoughts on that kind of thing. Political correctness, insofar as it equates to tolerance, is obviously fantastic. And of course, I reserve the right to boo anyone who says anything that offends me while also respecting their right to free speech. Boo.
That's true.
Oh, that's great. Just
don't
an
have to like
old
it.
school.
I
You don't
was
have
saying
to.
Boo Earns.
Uh-huh.
Well, and that's like a lot
Are you
of the.
saying boo or boo earns? I was saying boo earns.
A lot of how I try to just frame it is there's somebody out there that you will enjoy. And, Mary and I get this all the time when we're posting stand-up clips and people are like, oh, I don't like you. But it's the same people always say. So it's like, what do you do? Why are you doing that? Why do you like to come and watch my videos and then say I don't like it's very confusing to me that there's people that don't like what someone does and then just keep consuming it.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's weird. I got, let me send you to Vegas here.
Okay.
I think, not you.
I appreciate it. I need
Thanks.
to
Show
get
trip,
the
He
show
needs a
trip,
break.
show trip.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna win big.
They've got a lot of karaoke bars in Vegas. You can
fate.
sing Thin Lizzy.
Mm-hmm.
I think the tickets go on sale tomorrow for the iHeartRadio Music Festival. Black Crowes this year, and Paramore and Hozier and Gwen Stefani's going to be there. A wide array of artists to suit any tastes. It's going to be back at the T-Mobile Arena right there in Vegas, the 20th and 21st of September. So we get you airfare, get you a hotel, give you $1,000. Tickets to the event, of course. And so listen closely, and I hope you win. Good luck.
Now your chance at $1,000 and a trip to our iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword Vegas to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's Vegas to 200-200.
Oh, my. Oh, Drunk Sue's leaving voicemails. What's going on here?
Uh-oh.
Hey, Alan. It's Drunk Sue.
Oh, God. Anytime they start
This
like that, it's
doesn't
not
sound
good.
good.
That's why
Yeah.
she's not calling live.
My niece had an abortion today.
Oh.
Whoa.
I'm not going to finish that call.
Yeah, I don't
Why?
think we need to know about this.
Because she might not have known enough to say, hey, some people will leave me messages and go, hey, I want to throw in on this, but don't air this, please. She might not have had she sounded pretty upset. She might not have had the wherewithal to tell me that.
Oh, you're saying she's talking out of turn.
No, I'm saying that she might have just left me a voicemail and, Now, again, for anybody who's ever called that line, there is a disclaimer that anything you leave me I may potentially air. But I don't know. I'd rather err on the side of caution.
Yeah,
I
don't
get
need
it.
to- Sorry to hear that, Sue. Sorry you're upset.
I'm not saying
but
I'm
it's-
sorry to hear it. I'm glad that
Well,
her niece opted to
right.
take control of her life and her body.
It's just, but I'm sorry that Sue's upset.
Sue is upset.
Yeah.
And I met a couple of her friends in Portage Lakes over the weekend. Jake and Tabitha. It couldn't have been nicer. But you want to talk about bands, Mary? You said there was a band playing the Strawberry Festival.
Mm-hmm.
There was a band on Sunday. I had two spots on Saturday, and then Sunday we were at Dano's Lakeside Pub. And I had never been. I'm getting all I can handle of Portage Lakes all month long. And you just pour it right into me because, I like getting out there and hanging out with people or whatever. And so these places are great. The weather was awesome, whatever. But the Dano's thing, we had our tent set up and we were doing our thing because we're trying to get people this trip to Hawaii. But then they had other things going on. Like there were people set up like they were selling jewelry or something. And then there was a band that had been setting up. And so like the last half hour of my gig, this band starts playing. And it was almost solid Doobie Brothers covers, which is not going to make me mad.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a female singer. I don't know the name of the band, and they all looked like they were probably early '60s or whatever. It was like a bar band, and they were doing a good job. But then they started mixing it up, and I was like, no, I thought it was a Doobie Brothers cover band for a second. But
Who likes the Doobie Brothers? Because we got one of them.
yeah. Oh, what did they do? They did Taking It to the Streets. I think they did Taking It to the Streets. Like classic. Now, there is a demarcation line. Some people like old doobies. They like Jesus Is Just All Right and I'm Your Captain. And other people like
I like when
Michael
they got little-
McDonald.
Yeah, I like
doobies.
Michael McDonald.
Taking it to the streets. And, yeah. But that's not for everybody.
The only even frame of reference I have for that is 40-Year-Old Virgin. When he's like, if you don't take this Michael McDonald DVD that you've been playing
Yamo
for
be
3
there.
years straight off,
Yeah.
I'm going to kill everyone in the store and put a
Right.
bullet in my brain.
But that was Michael McDonald solo.
Right.
Yamo Be There with James Ingram, yeah. And, of course, Michael McDonald got his start as
Captain Jack Sparrow.
background singer for the band Steely Dan. He's doing background on Peg and Bad Sneakers and all kinds of great songs.
What was the SCTV sketch?
Oh, God, where Moranis walks in and just goes,
Yeah. But he's like doing a bunch of other stuff. He's like, oh, gotta be right back.
he's talking to him. And Michael McDonald. What really goes on in an overdub session there with Michael McDonald? Yeah, Moranis just has like a beard and a thing on. And
on the Jerry Todd Show. On the Jerry Todd Show. That's all like the wind. Thanks for being.
Christopher Cross. He sings the one line. Then he runs out. They give him the thumbs up.
Yeah, good job. Got it. Nailed it.
Oh, you got to get back in there. All right, thumbs up. Great job, Mike.
It's going to be me tomorrow at the pool before work. Go down there.
You're going to the pool before work.
I'm going to because it's open
wow, that's
finally.
a baller move, dude.
Yeah, get a few laps in. Turn
Wow.
on some yacht rock and just enjoy myself.
Oh, it's finally open. It hasn't.
Yeah,
it
it
wasn't open
opened-
this weekend.
No, it still
Mary,
wasn't
that's
open.
why he was going out so much. There was nothing to do at home.
That's ours. Okay.
Because this weekend was the perfect pool weekend.
Not really. It was still not.
I disagree.
Oh,
I was
really?
home- I was home this weekend. It wasn't.
It was
that
like
nice.
70. Like it was.
Really?
If I want to
wasn't
go in a
hot.
pool, I mean over 75. 75 is like minimum for pool weather.
It
for me.
felt hot on Saturday. I mean, there were so many boats out and. Huh. All right.
No, it was like
Saturday was like
Maybe it was hotter in Portage Lakes where I was.
it might have been.
70,
right on the
it
lake
was
there.
like 75, 77 on Saturday. But Sunday was not. Sunday
Wow.
was
Sunday
like
was cold.
Well, Sunday was
Monday was
breezy.
cold.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
I
All right.
didn't really go outside on Saturday, so
For me, like perfect. If I want
it's gonna be like 80 tomorrow.
mid 80s is
Yeah.
like perfect pool weather for me. 82, 83.
It needs to be hot.
Anything hotter than that is too hot. Anything above 75 to 85. That's
Mm-hmm.
water weather for me.
84 and sunny on Thursday.
That's a
Yeah.
perfect pool
That's what
day.
you want.
I'm gonna hit
Yeah.
that.
Next
I
week.
always like being able to go in the pool before I head into work because it's just like a night. It's like rather than go on a walk, you just go swim a few laps.
Sure. Well, next week, it's all going to be all week long next week. It's upper 80s.
Let's
It's in
go.
the 90s here, dude. 94. And my sister and nephew and niece are visiting.
And 100% humidity.
And I'm like, I almost don't even know what to tell them to do because I'm like, bro, let's see. When they're here, they get in Monday, they leave Friday. 82, 87, 89, 88. I'm like, 88 degrees and 100% humidity. You can't be walking around all day in that. And there's not really a lot of non-walking around things to do for a tourist in New York, you know? Be like, dude, it's our the public pools here don't open until the 24th of June. So I can't even like post up at the pool.
All right.
That's too hot for an activity.
So, Bill, is it just you solo tomorrow? Or are you going to have
I'm just
people?
gonna-
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just. Grandma might be down there. I haven't coordinated with her, but she might be.
All right.
Yeah, just pop down there. We'll maybe get something going this weekend. I got to go to upstate New York Friday. No, not Friday. Saturday.
Oh, yeah, you're going to Salamanca.
Salamanca.
The hell is Salamanca?
It's south of Buffalo and just
Right over the PA border.
There's a yeah.
He's doing a gig.
Got a gig.
And I'm back in Portage Lakes on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Alan, Mary,
What?
ask her if actors are worse liars than magicians.
Depends. It depends.
You get
man.
mad at actors for lying to you?
I don't trust them in real life. I've never had a conversation with an actor and been like, I bet that was the truth. You know? They're hard to trust. You spend your whole life being like, watch me do everything except be myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't even know who you are. Who are you?
Wow.
I don't think I could ever be in a relationship with an actor. Definitely not a magician.
All right. Well, you aspiring thespians, check Mary Santora off your list because...
Listen, I already have my rat snack man. I don't need
Yeah.
anything else.
Devotion to accuracy. I'm Your Captain was Grand Funk Railroad. I'm sorry. I was thinking of The Captain and Me, which was a Doobie Brothers album. But I'm Your Captain is Grand Funk.
I don't know the names of any of these songs. I just know they come on when I'm in the pool.
They come on, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just got that playlist going.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long way to go.
He's got a great voice. That Michael McDonald boy has a very, very unique voice.
There's a guy that used to do this bit called The Most Dangerous. He called it The Most Dangerous Joke or something, and he would stuff marshmallows in his cheeks to sound more like Michael McDonald as he would perform it.
Yeah.
And it would just it would actually make him sound more and more like it, and it was very funny. And then at the very end, he spits all the marshmallows into a brown paper bag, signs it, and hands it to somebody in the audience.
Wow, they have spat out marshmallow.
Yeah.
Nobody knows the band Grand Funk? The wild, shirtless lyrics of Mark Farner? The bong-rattling bass of Mel Shocker? The competent drum work of Don Brewer? Oh, man!
The competent drum work of Don Brewer.
Oh, I thought he said confident.
No, competent, I think.
Competent,
That was a backhanded compliment. Last time I saw Grand Funk, they were opening the